now, so hello YouTube. We're doing a live deck profile today of Threehan. My main idea is not to show you some finished list because I'm trying crazy things with it all the time and I don't feel like crazy things will lead you anywhere because most of the ideas are also shit. We are going over my top 8 deck list from last year. And we will look at all the cards that came out since then, which I think are interesting for the deck. And then we will live change the deck. Also, this is a live recording. So if you see any chat popping up down here, this is due to live people commenting or asking questions or whatever, right? Maybe there's nothing, the whole recording, then don't be disturbed. Also, this is our streaming setup. So if you're interested in our streams, make sure to follow us also on Twitch. We will leave a link to that down in the description. All right, so Threehan. First of all, I need to reintroduce you to the idea to Threehan very quickly. It's nowadays a blue generic aggressive deck. It's very rare for blue to have a very aggressive deck, and the mechanics of these decks are also like very interesting. First of all, you have a permanent that doesn't allow you to go above 3 energy. So every card that says if you have 4 more energy, you can't really play it, it's out of the window. You awaken at 5 or less life, or with a blue Z battle card with superhero in its character name, you untap 2. Untap 2 is really good for high aggressive decks, because you can immediately pressure for 4 energy, and even beyond that, because what your leader also says is if all of your energy is mono blue, when one of your blue battle cards is added to your Z energy, switch up to one of your energy to active mode. So this means you have 5 energy to spend in turn 2, or at least when you awaken in turn 2, right? If you want to do that. Also, this deck is a Russian roulette deck, meaning it plays way different to all other decks. What you want to do with this deck is to constantly throw your hand away to see 3 new cards. This leader does not draw anymore when swinging, when something is played, when something other swings. It only draws when you have no cards in hand. Then you just draw 3 new cards and that's it basically. So the main idea on how I built this deck in the past is to play no extra cards, because extra cards are oftentimes stuck in your hand and don't let you see new cards. And what I'm also like to do with the deck is to have multiple cards giving me more combo power, so I can apply very high pressure and the cards I'm comboing in have even more value compared to regular 5k cards. What we're also looking for is cards that you can play very early in the game, like turn 2, and lead to high pressure, either by having double strike, dual attack, and 20k and above. So this is what we're looking for. This is what I am looking for if I'm building the deck. Then you have 2 ways of awakening. The first way of awakening is through the traditional Z battle cards. These are okay. They are outdated, very outdated. So either you pay 2 and 2 for deflect barrier, so your opponent can't really mess with you, or if you're feeling safe, you can also just pay 2 and 1 for Vegeta. And Vegeta is the better of the both cards because it can also swing and generate a 15k swing and save you 1 card for the next turn. I see many players, including myself, also trying to self-awaken, because it feels kind of a waste to spend 2 energy for a 15k swing, and that's it basically. So what you can also do is play self-awakeners, which add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. And what I think is interesting is that blue nowadays gets many of them. So I have the feeling whenever a new set is printed, there's at least 1 self-awakener in there, which is very interesting, not only for decks like Soul Striker, but also for something like Threehan. Then we have a comment, interesting list, always love the high pace, high impact decks. Important, this is not the finished list, we're building the list right now. This was my top 8 placing list from last year. I'm just quickly explaining what the deck does and how you could build the deck basically. So like I said, you can either awaken through these cards or through the self-awakeners, and the rest of the deck is basically blue generic good stuff that really tries to pressure. One unique thing the deck also has is a very strong floodgate, and this is the reason why I'm judging this season, because this card got a lovely judge event stamp. I can even pull out my Threehan deck right now, because I have it here in front of me, and I can show it to you. So this is how the regular card looks, right? Pretty simple, regular foiling from BT19, and the event judge stamp on this card looks like this. So in direct comparison, you have the gold sparks, you have the gold texture on the numbers and the name. So it really looks good, and this is the main reason why I am judging this season and not playing, because I'm not interested in the prizes at the moment anyway. So yeah, this is also unique for the deck. You can also play it in Gamma, but it's a really good floodgate and, in my opinion, the only defensive value or card the deck needs. The rest is just pure good stuff, and therefore we can also look at pure good stuff. One more addition. This card is mainly here to let us go down to 2 energy again. This is a tech I invented when I first won a regional with this deck. It was a meta where U7 was pretty dominant, as well as black decks, so that said, like, if your opponent has 3 or more energy. So you charge this, and in turn 3 you can just pay 2 if you haven't found Beast to play this card, and then you go down to 2 energy, which prohibits your opponent from playing cards that says if your opponent has 3 or more energy, which is really cool. Okay, now we got the how the deck works part out of the window. We can concentrate on how we approach new cards for the deck, right? And I just included the maybe list here from Deck Planet. Really nice that they have the maybe option now. I really like it. To see what cards I thought of, right? BT29 and beyond. So first idea I had when these lovely cards got announced, the cooler cards, is that you can basically play this cooler core in every other deck. It's not limited to your leader, you can play it wherever. And the fun thing about this is that this is basically a cycle 2 combination. So you play this, then you make a top 5 search, and you either find a salsa or a cooler. And then you can swap into this by discarding 1 card, taking him back to hand, and then playing him. The discard part is always pretty interesting in Threehan, because you can get rid of nasty cards you can't get rid of anyway. So if you see this later than your charge phase, this is very much stuck on your hand. And having cards in your deck that says draw 1 card, discard 1 card are always welcome to kind of keep us recycling, right? So I thought this was very interesting. Truth be told, I never tested it, and there are 2 reasons for that. First, your opponent needs to have 2 or more energy. This is something I heavily dislike in Threehan, because it's cool if I go second, but if I go first and have my 7, 8 cards in hand and all of them say if your opponent have 3 or more energy, this sucks. Or 2 or more energy, this sucks. Hello Peter, welcome. I'm stealing your idea with Invoker, talking about how I would change Threehan with new upcoming cards and how to think of it and how to rebuild it. But this is a thing you could consider. Because also, you're having a 20k dual attacker, right? Love you and good luck today. Thank you very much. Like I said, I will only stream today, and I will try to get you on stream again, my friend. Good luck today as well, Peter. So this is a 20k dual attacker. It's pretty nice, but it's not that nice that I think the engine is worth it playing. So throw it out of the window. This card, however, is like one of the best blue cards that came out in recent history. Even though it says if your opponent has 2 or more energy, it is a cycle 2, and you can also discard 1 card from your hand and bounce something back to hand. So this is really good into a token negate. This is really good for just a 25k swing. And since you combo so much with this deck anyway, it will most likely be a 35k swing, because after you paid an energy for something, you immediately want to combo something so that you get your energy back through your leader. So this card immediately, where can we switch it to main deck? Move to main is for me a 3-off at least. So we can put that in here and we can think about which card we throw out of the window. And when I think about what card to put out, I'm always thinking about what kind of niche does this card fulfill. So it bounces something back and it's a cycle. There is no other card that bounces something back and is a cycle, so we need to decide on a split. To be honest, I feel like this card over the years got more and more useless, and it's not worth playing anymore. It hurts to say, because the core is getting lower and lower in this deck, and BT19, I mean, it's now 11 sets, right, since this deck came out, which is crazy to me. It doesn't do enough anymore. It's nice if you have at the end an energy open to spend and then to discard one, for example, a card that is stuck on your hand. However, we want to make our deck so consistent as it goes, or as it is possible. And there is a card that came out recently that also makes this card obsolete. So I guess we're throwing out the Goku and Vegeta combo because it's just not that useful, to be honest. So we put this in and we made our first change, right? We decided what kind of niche this card should fulfill. We decided that it can also discard a card, so like Vegeta and Goku, but it's a 25k swing and it sees 2 new cards, which is really good. So, next card, Janemba, Malice Fury. You can recognize blue players, or you can recognize non-blue players, if they tell you this card is good. Whenever blue concept rare come out, people overclaim how good these cards are. This card is trash. It's only good against a very specific matchup, which is Nova. And that's about it. Because, think about it. We want to have a high aggression deck. We don't have any barrier removal but Beast. Blue is at a very bad point, and I will say that again at the end. Blue sucks at the moment. There is white, then here is blue, and here is every other color. This is how it feels to play blue. We don't have good counterplays. We need a very specific setup for that. We don't have barrier removal if our engine doesn't give it to us. There are so many silver bullets against us. It's crazy. Our floodgates are all shit. They can all be counterplayed. They are all battle cards. We are only living due to D-Magic. The ability to untap energy is what keeps us alive. And if you look at the topping decks, I think Bulma won once in Oceania because people didn't know what Bulma does in this region. And then blue is nowhere to be found. There's one top 8 of Gogeta BR, one top 8 of Tapion. That's it. Blue is trash at the moment. It's trash. We're missing tools, we're missing options. So if we're looking at this card, for Threehan, it's bound to your opponent having 2 or more energy. It doesn't play itself immediately. It just bounces something back to hand, which is the most stupid thing you could imagine. Because, great, let's bounce a silver bullet back to hand so they just play it again and then swing at us again. Nice job, Bandai. It should have been bottom deck, to be honest, and even then I wouldn't have considered it to be one of the good cards I would always play in my deck. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about this card, to be honest. It's just like, I really don't like it. I really don't like it. However, against Nova, we might need to play it. So it might be a side deck option. Squadron. This card is interesting for many reasons. First, it's a triple attack 30k because it puts 3 cards under it. The ones you most likely spend for your Z energy. And it has protection, but only if you run the Armored Squadron core. I'm not running. The main problem with this card is you need to go up to 3 energy, and if you want to spend afterwards 2 energy to play your unison, this is not possible anymore. Also, like I said, it doesn't have protection. We need to run the core, and I don't like the core that much in Threehan. So for me, this is a case of I want to tell you one nice synergy. I never made it happen, but in theory, you can give this card triple strike for a battle. Because this card says, if your leader character name includes superhero, you have 3 or more energy, and you remove this card from the game. Choose up to one of your blue battle cards with 2 or more character names, and it gets 10k power and triple strike for the battle. So in theory, you can play this card turn 2 to awaken, hope it sticks on the board, play this card here in turn 3, and then have 3 times 40k triple strike danger for your opponent. It never happened for me. It always felt bad to play that card. It's a total of 5 Z energy, keep that in mind. You get stopped by yellow, you get stopped by black with petrification, you get stopped by green with a fucking green Z extra for 1 Z energy. So, this card would have needed protection, to be honest, more protection than this. Or you play the cooler core. I don't think it's worth playing the card. It's a spicy, fun option you could do. This card is better though. It's basically a way to throw that here out of the window, maybe. Because you bottom deck something, deflect barrier blocker, best combination deflect barrier. And it is an infinite restand. So we can go down to 0 energy and generate 4 swings with that card, which are all 25k. 25k is a very good check mark. We can play it when our opponent responds with a token negate to our other swings we already have on board. We can bottom deck that token. We can bottom deck something generic that's annoying. This card is really good, and this card is a very unique finisher. I think, to be honest, every blue deck should play at least one copy of this card. Because like I said, it's a finisher. If you're playing against black, they don't have Tenacious on board, and you're a blue player with 3, 4, 5 energy, you just slam this boy down and swing 6, 5, 4 times into them with 25k. Chances are really low that they can do anything about this, and that you just win the game on spot. This is also like one of your finishers in Bulma. If your opponent is tapped out, there is no Floodgate life, you just win the game, it's over at that point. It's better than any win button you could imagine. So this card here is an immediate move to Z, because it's just so good. And to be honest, we can maybe put these two out right now, or maybe lower this, because they were all just generic options, because I didn't have something better anyway. So this card, really, really good. Love that card. Also, we can go down to 2 energy. We don't need to play Unison anymore. So we can basically throw our hand away, see if we can find Beast. If we haven't found Beast, we play this for 3 and 1. Swing with it, combo something, resend 1 energy, do something with it 1 energy, activate main, place 1 energy in our drop, resend him, and we're down 2 energy. We could also do it another time to go down to 1 energy, so Boo can't absorb us. However, if we haven't found Beast by then, I wouldn't do that, because then Beast is just stuck in your hand and you could play it, because Beast requires you to have 3 or more energy. Not good. Pilaf Machine. I think many people are overlooking this card, because you can play it generically on top of one of your Pilaf Shu and My Battle cards. We have this one Pilaf Shu and My Battle card, the counter attack card everybody hates, who needs the energy and needs to swing for it. Basically, you can just play this card from your drop. So if you're not intending to play overrams, or just one overram to finish games, you can just combo this card at any point of the game, leave it in your drop, and then as soon as you react with Pilaf Shu and My in your opponent's turn and it sticks on the board, you can play this card on top of it and have a filter too. Like draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. You play this from your drop. It's really good to filter Beast. It's really good to get rid of your cards, something like this. The only problem why I'm not including this card in our deck list right now is because I'm not playing Pilaf Shu and My. But this card, to be honest, please consider it. If you have Pilaf Shu and My in your deck, and you're a blue deck that has trouble drawing new cards, at least a 2-off. Put this card in as a 2-off. It's a really good card. I don't know why people are not playing it, because you also have a swing and then a blocker, so your opponent needs to spend something to remove it. It's a really good card. I think people are overlooking it. I still won't put it in because I don't play Pilaf Shu and My. Concept rare. Also a concept rare. People told me about, wow, this card is crazy. Like every non-blue player told me, wow, this card is crazy. It's such a good card. Blue has the best concept rare. This card is not crazy, guys. It's not crazy. Blue does not have problems regarding your opponent's hand size. We have 2 kinds of blue decks. The first one is the more aggressive mid-range deck. They are forcing your opponents to spend cards from the hand anyway, while keeping a relatively big hand. And the other kind of decks we have in blue are ramp decks. And ramp decks will never spend 2 energy on something that doesn't ram, or something that doesn't help them to close out the game. This card is a really good card in one deck, which is Soul Striker. In my opinion. All other blue decks have other play lines they want to do in their turn 2. This card doesn't solve a problem that blue has. Blue has 2 problems, no really good counterplay, and no barrier removal at all. And this card doesn't solve one of them. It's just good in Soul Striker, because you're also a deck that draws a lot in Soul Striker right now. I don't like this card, to be honest. I think I also don't see it in any list, which leads you to the recognition that this card isn't really, really crazy. You also need to have 3 energy, which is something I also don't like in Threehan, because I like to go down to 2 energy again. So this card is also no for me in Threehan. It does 2 less for 2 energy. I mean, you can also spend this on a Broly, right? And Broly is like 2 swings, bottom deck something. Way better. And then if you draw into another Broly, you can, for one, pay another Broly and have another 35k double strike, bottom deck something, because you can evolve on top. This card, I don't like it. I think it's really good in Soul Striker. I love to play it in Soul Striker, but I never considered it in any other blue deck. I'm sorry. This is interesting. I think Beast is one of the best secrets for the deck, if not the best secret for the deck. However, this is fun, because if you go into your Z lead, you lose the permanent of being able to charge more energy. So in theory, if you are in your Z leader, you could use this card to go up to 4 energy. However, the setup is so artificial that you will never be able to do it, because you need to go down to 3 energy, then you need to see this card. You're not allowed to get rid of this card, and yeah, it's just it's not a good idea. If you go second, this is really cool because you can immediately go up to 3 energy and then have even more energy to spend in your turn 2, because you can untap 1 energy with this, right? So this is very cool. You can also remove this card to generate another blue swing, which could be another Broly swing, or another Z-Lead swing, or another 25k double swing, or something like that. Thank you, Lim, for the Prime sub. Thank you very much. So I feel like this is fun, but it's not consistent enough. Also, if we draw too late, it's just a draw 2. This for a secret and resend 1. This for a secret is too bad. I play this card in Soul Striker. That's really fun. I still think Beast is better in Soul Striker because it kind of does the same thing and you're not ramping for anything specific in Soul Striker. But it's good and fun. So, no again. This is a hell yes. Again, with this card, many people are overlooking this card. I don't know why. Maybe blue is so shit at the moment that nobody's playing that. This card is so fucking good. Holy shit. First off, it's a Self-Awakener. I talked in the beginning of how much Self-Awakening blue does get nowadays. Second, it's a blocker unison. Blocker unison are the best thing to have because your opponent can't really get rid of it. They need to spend a lot of resources and it has a +2 and it starts with 2 markers. So you're going up to 4 markers immediately. Your opponent will have high trouble removing 4 markers immediately when you are on like 2 energy or something. And also, it's a draw 2, discard 2. So it's a quick cycle for a deck that doesn't want to keep cards in hand that are really, really stuck. So this, my friends, is a hell yes. Because it's a nice Self-Awakener from your Z deck that also does something. So if you're thinking about playing this or this card, you always want to play this card when you're on 6 lives. You go down to 5 lives, you can immediately awaken, you get 2 tokens. They don't have combo power, but potentially you could also swing with the 1k Earthling tokens if you like. I mean, you have enough combo power in your hand to really make it count. It's a quick cycle, it's a blocker. You can also swing with it for 15k, which is okay, I guess, but most likely you will leave it open for a block. If you're also expecting something like Broly Secret or SS for Vegito Secret against Red, this is a really good answer to just keep it on the board, never use it, so you don't lose the game on a spot because of an SCR. I really, really like this card. And like I said, I think it's overlooked. There is also a fun interaction. So basically, you play 2 Earthling tokens, right? If you don't want to do the cycle on turn 2, you could combo those 2 tokens in to then play him. Because he just stats if there are 2 or more cards in your combo area. He doesn't care color, he doesn't care combo cost, he doesn't care combo power. So you could immediately play for 2 into Mai, get the 2 tokens on board, not use your +2 this turn, but use the ±0 to play 1 Earthling token, combo 2 tokens away, and then play him, without losing cards in hand to play him. Which I think is a very fun interaction you can do, and you should try. However, I think in the beginning it's best to just cycle. Or later on, just cycle to see your Beast Secret and to get rid of cards you don't really need in your hand. So, this is a hell yes for Threehan. This is also a hell yes for Soul Striker. Because in Soul Striker, you're now able to awaken X6 lives if you have 3 or more energy, or 2 energy and a marker. Because you can just play this Goku in Soul Striker, Self-Awaken, and then you can Z-charge this Goku after you swung with him to play Mai, to Self-Awaken again, and then you can awaken with Soul Striker, swing, untap 2, and so on and so on. What is happening here? There's a cat fight. No, this direction. There's a cat fight. Hell yes. And then we have the last final card, Yamcha Wolfgale. This card is crazy. When this card got revealed, I was so fucking happy. I also feel like every blue deck should at least play one copy of this. Because it's an easy charge target. Blue has a lot of 3 cost or less cards. I mean, look at here, right? We can also use these 3 cost or less cards. And Pan is finally more scary than ever before. So what does this card do? It's a deflect 20k double strike for 1. If your leader is blue and your battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less, doesn't even specify color by the way, is attacking, play this card from your energy and switch the attack card to this card. So what happens? In turn 3, if you haven't found Beast yet, and you still have your fucking Pan 1-drop on the field because you never did anything with it, you swing with Pan, your opponent will be like, no negates. And then you combo in your whole hand. You'll use your leader ability to draw 3 new cards. And if you haven't found Beast by yet, you just pay 1, play Yamcha from your energy, in active mode, and then you're at, I mean, if you combo these 3 cards in, you're at a 50k double. If you just comboed like 3 of those, you are at 35k double, out of nowhere. And your opponent thought, okay, you're swinging with 1-drop because you're trolling, or because you want to cycle your hand, whatever. It will be like, what, 19k swing, a 34k swing, but it's just single, I don't care. It's fun. Also, it doesn't have any energy restrictions. So if you want to be really nasty, and if it seems like you can even kill your opponent turn 2, have fun playing this card on turn 2. Also, you can play overrims with this card. So this card might be the most important card for Threehan in a long time, and makes other cards 3 cost or less more viable. I saw people on Facebook writing that you don't even play this package in Threehan anymore. You are so wrong about this. You will still play this package in Threehan because it's just too good, especially now. You have still the opportunity to discard this, which makes it very easy for your Vegeta to combo 1. Also, you fill your drop for potential overrims. We'll talk about overrims and super combos in a minute, because I think we need to discuss this as well. Pan is now even more scary, because she's a 1-drop that can swing, and her swing can turn into something very, very big. Also, our Floodgate swing can turn into something very, very big. Also, our Goku can turn into something very, very big. And so on and so on. So this is like crazy value. Thing is, I don't like my card list at 53, so we need to throw something out. And to be honest, I feel like the card I would cut the most is like go down one of these, because you either play it turn 2 or you will never play it. So I feel like this is okay. You can still see this, and you have plenty of other options to play now turn 2. Those 2 are locked to your opponent having 2 or more energy, but you can play the rest, which is really, really good. So this is how I would change my top 8 list to adapt it to BT30 now. I'm not playing this list. I'm playing something totally different now. There is a hand control variant of Threehan, which I think is very interesting. There is also a new variant I'm testing at the moment, which is really spicy, but I don't want to show you something spicy that might not really work. I just want to show you something that solidly works for you, because I feel like the leader is difficult enough to play. And Peter, if you're still watching, I feel like Invoker and this deck have a lot in common. What do I mean with this? You need to know your opponent's deck better than your own deck, while also keeping track of the cards you've already seen. So you can think about, if I now draw 3 new cards, what can I expect to see and how high are the chances? So for example, your opponent is swinging into you, and you know the next swing of them will be a 30k triple strike. And you already seen 2 of these. You can directly calculate in your head, okay, how high are my chances to draw another copy of this, so I can still do something about that swing, alright? Or how big is the chance I see one of my pseudo super combos to generate more combo power, or will I just brick? So this deck feels like Russian roulette. However, if you keep in mind what you've already seen and you know what your opponent's deck want to do, you can very well decide on if you want to go down to 2 energy now, or if you want to stick at 3 energy because your opponent doesn't care about your energy anyway. So you need a lot of deck knowledge from your opponent. And then you need to get accustomed with a very unique playstyle that feels wrong if you're used to keeping cards in your hand in case your opponent does something. So this is why I'm bringing you the most conservative list of this, where I feel like this is a good starting point for everybody who wants to play the game. However, I want to talk about 2 more things, which are super combo choices and overwhelms. And I want to do this right now. I played this Zamasu super combo in the past because it felt like to be the most optimal super combo, to be as defensive as possible by also giving me something good. I don't like draw super combos in this deck at all, because I don't feel like the deck needs draw, as stupid as it sounds. However, the deck needs some more tools, and back then we were in the meta where Warp Cheetah was a thing, yes, but many other decks who relied on leader swings were also a thing. If we look now at the current meta, and we can do this at top deck diffusion, which kind of gives us a really nice breakdown of the meta with points and stuff, we see this split. So this leader profits from attacking. These 3 don't care about swinging. This swings, this doesn't care, this cares a lot. So I would say it's a split. Boo is the biggest problem. So I feel like this super combo could be correct. However, what you can also do is to look at any other multicolored blue super combo which has effects. And you can think if you want to play this over Zamasu or if you want to play a split, right? I feel like this is totally fine and you should really consider doing so. So you could either go, in my opinion, for something like this if you have trouble removing your opponent's board. This is a Kevlar super combo, bottom decking 1 after a swing. So you can consider playing cards that don't remove cards from your opponent's board, then just combo this and then they vanish anyway. You could do that. You could also play this card. I feel like people are discovering that card again because it helps a lot in 3 matchups, which are Zamasu, Pan, and Boo. They all have a unison that has 5k or less power. And if you play this card with only blue energy, you can either minus one of your opponent's leader or unison card and get minus 5k for the battle, so you can rip 1 marker. Or if you use this card aggressively, this is basically a 15k super combo, right? Because you can minus opponent's leader as well. You can also consider this card, to be honest. If you go more for the hand destruction route of the deck, you can play this card. It's really nasty if you combine this with a really high swing, because your opponent needs to bottom deck 1. And if you can even put out a crit string with the crit self-awakener, so this is like a 25k crit swing, where your opponent also bottom decks a card from hand. I feel like hand destruction is not good, because your opponent will most likely discard or bottom deck the card that is least valuable for them. So I rather not let them draw new cards instead of letting them discard cards. So this is why I think Zamasu is still superior if your opponent relies on leader swings compared to Android, right? Especially with the Boo leader draw to bottom deck 1. So I guess I would still stick to this card. However, I could also see an argument for this card, especially in the current meta. I would also consider this card playing. And I also tested this card and it feels good. So you could definitely play it. Keep in mind you have a floodgate that will most likely lead to your opponent only swinging with leader cards or unison cards. So Zamasu isn't that good there anymore, and Zamasu is also not good if you're playing on your turn, right? So yeah, because you don't have anything from resting your opponent's battle cards. I mean, there could be a lucky case that they don't block with a card without a barrier, and then you can combo this and rest their blocker. That has also caught my opponents off guard many times, so you could also consider doing this. So these about super combo choices. Always keep in mind we have multicolored super combos and they are really good in this deck. Then we need to talk about Overwhelm as well. I would only consider Overwhelm 3 and Overwhelm 4. Reason is I'm a fan of consistently overwhelming. Oh, Dark Overwhelm. Oh no. Overwhelm 3 and Overwhelm 4. I'm a fan of consistently overwhelming, and I need to remind you that we throw our cards in hand away. So it's not like we keep our Overwhelm 6, the only one we're playing in our deck, for infinity. There are few Overwhelms I would consider running. I'm not doing, though, in the conservative list, we could do right now because we removed the Vegeta Goku duo that combos out of your drop. So our drop doesn't matter anymore at all. We're not doing anything with our drop anymore. So these are the cards I would consider playing in Threehan if you really like the idea of Overram. I don't think it's necessary at the moment. It's fun, but it's not necessary. This card is really good if you go for the hand destruction route. It's the only Overram card you can play generically. This is Overram 3 and lets your opponent discard one card. If you combine this with the Android 18 super combo, the green-blue one, as well as the Superhero Vegeta card that is an archetype that also lets your opponent bottom deck one from hand, this will lead to your opponent quickly losing cards. You can also combine that with the Overram, with the Android 18Z Unison. So I feel like if you are a blue deck that tries to diminish your opponent's hand, which some decks are doing nowadays with blue, you could consider playing this card if you don't care about your drop. It's nice. You could also play something like this. Helps you looking for a beast, for example, right? And it's a 15k swing. You could also consider something more aggressive, like this card, for example. Double crit, and you have a lot of combo power, and can also get rid of one of your cards if you still want to play cards that can be stuck at your hand. This is a card that's also overlooked. It's a 15k dual attacker. It's good. I don't know why not many people are playing it, maybe because it's so niche and people like to play bigger Overram targets. So this is also something I could see being played if you like to swing multiple times and at one time big. And then regarding the rest, I mean, you could also play this card, but I don't like it. If you want to go for Overram 4, something like a early 20k double strike out of nowhere is cool. Cycling is cool. And you could also consider something like this. Have a 25k swing. You could also honestly consider this because we're playing the Kais, right? So, truth be told, you could also make an argument playing 3 to 4 copies of this card because we're playing Kai anyway. So there are a lot of choices. Keep in mind, I'm more so a fan of Overram 3 because with Overram 3, we can make those swings also 20k double swings because, like I said, Yamcha does not care of the color of your attacking battle card. So if you use the Overram 3 Golden, for example, which is a 15k duel, you have the potential of having 2 20k double strike swings out of this as well, if you like to, right? Which is really, really good. So I'm more a fan of, I think, now Overram 3, because you can set it up more easy. Also, if you play this card, you have an immediate Overram 4 life, because you're playing 2 and 2 for this, and then you +2, draw 2, discard 2. Overram 4 is life immediate. So Overram 4 also has a strong argument. I would go for Overram 3 or Overram 4. I don't think it's necessary at all to play this. However, if you want to play it, you can play it. And I think that's everything about the Threehan Masterclass. Oh, also there's one more card I forgot, which is one of the best blue Z cards in history, which is called Frieza. I really hate that they haven't given the leader any more archetypes but this card, because it's so good. For 2 energy, you get a bottom deck something, and basically it's just cost 1. I know what you're saying, but Bastion, my opponent also gets an energy. Yeah, it doesn't really mind if you're going first turn 1. Like, what should they do? A hard negate? Well, congratulations for your hard negate. You now have made -1 in hand. And I still have 1 more energy to spend for aggressive things. Also, it's a very nice card to end the turn with, or to play at the beginning of the turn, because it makes something like Decisive Strike live immediate, as well as being an untap 1 at the end of the turn, if you can't spend your energy otherwise. So this card is really good. You could even consider bumping this up to 2 if you cut something else, maybe 1 Seed or something, because it just feels so good. This card feels so good. Yeah, and this is my most conservative list of Threehan. Quickly going over side deck, I make this really, really quick now. I feel like something like this would be correct at the moment. Because you need ways to remove something like Great Saiyaman or Vegito Xeno. We don't have much barrier removal, and we need that early on. This is a really great card against Blue Bojack or any other deck like Arinsu that tends to play also in your turn. This is always good against red. Also, it's just a 25k single swing for 1 energy. This is really good value for aggressive deck. This is your counterplay against red if they like to play topo, against yellow especially. And like I said, with Freezer now you have it live more consistently. And you could probably cut this card to something else. I'm playing in EU where Geo is a thing. And Geo always plays Nova. So I need this card in my side deck if I go to any regional, because I know I will face at least one Nova player. And this card is just the best answer for Nova. I wouldn't side it in any other match but Nova. Not in any other match but Nova, because this card is pure trash anyways. Besides that. You could also make an argument for Toa Twisted Sister if you want to stop your opponent's Boo going into Union Absorption if they go first with your marker. I feel like this is also correct. You could also think about... What did I side recently? There was another card I was siding. 1 second. I have my deck here. You can make it very quick. Oh, I sided an Overrealm. I have another Overrealm on this side. Yeah, this is also an opportunity. If you're playing against green... I have these mirrors inside I showed you before. Just if they dormant me, I can play this Overrealm to make them ditch another card from hand, which is the best thing I can do. So as an aggressive deck, dormant is a pain, and you need to think about, okay, if they dormant me, how can I spend my energy to get rid of value they have still? And this is sometimes not that easy. So, like I said, this is how I would build Threehan based on my top 8 list last year. This is not the list I'm playing right now. I'm playing a way more spicy list. But like I said, I feel like this is the most conservative approach for new players to start the decks. How many rounds and players for the regional? Yesterday evening when I looked, I saw that we have 73 players. Might have gone up. Maybe some players don't show up. So I would expect something between 6 and 7 rounds. More likely is 6 rounds. And we will start in 10 minutes with the regional. I think the welcome speech is right now happening. So we will be back in around 10 minutes. If you haven't done so, please consider leaving a follow for the stream or a subscription for YouTube, because this will also be uploaded. As well as a subscription to Twitch, so my team can buy me a green screen so you don't see cats anymore. Do with that information what you want. We see each other in a few minutes with the first round. Bye-bye.